Black people have lost their identity, but our oppressors have not lost our identity.
I don't know what you identify as, but I'm not African whatsoever.
Why is it said that black people in the diaspora have no identity? With identity, I mean they have no culture, they have no tribes, they have no language, they have nothing. This statement is often thrown around, but what does it really mean? And is it even true? Stick around as we break this down step by step, looking at history, culture, and the ways black communities have redefined identity over time. Well, to understand this, we need to go back to the transatlantic slave trade, which lasted from the 16th through the 19th century, where over 12 million Africans were taken from their homelands and shipped to the Americas, the Caribbean, and Europe. When enslaved Africans arrived, they were stripped of everything: their languages, religions, names, and cultural practices. Colonizers intentionally suppressed African traditions to erase their sense of self and make them easier to control. So this is where the narrative of no identity begins. But I want us to pause just for a second. Saying black people in the diaspora have no identity ignores the rich and complex cultures these individuals came from. Kingdoms like Mali, Benin, and Congo had advanced systems of governance, art, and philosophy. These weren't just societies, they were civilizations. Well, the erasure of their identity wasn't accidental. It was part of a deliberate strategy. Enslavers used brutal tactics to suppress African cultural identities and enforce new ones. People were told they were inferior and that Africa was a land of savagery. For centuries, Africa was misinterpreted in Western media as a place of poverty, disease, and chaos. These portrayals reinforced negative stereotypes, making it hard for some to feel pride in their African roots. I want you not to forget how identity works. Many people in the diaspora grew up in countries where their blackness was often stigmatized. So identifying as African added another layer of otherness they had to navigate. In places like the US, the term African American itself has been debated. Some prefer to be identified simply as black, separating their experiences from Africa entirely, while others see themselves as Caribbean or Latinos before connecting with Africa. Well, it's all so layered. But here's the twist. Africa never truly left the diaspora. From music like jazz and reggae to foods like jerk chicken, jumbo, African influence is everywhere. These culture threads are reminders of the resilience of the African heritage. Well, in recent years, there's been a resurgence of interest in Africa. Initiatives like Ghana's Year of Return have encouraged people in the diaspora to reconnect with their roots. Social media has also played a huge role in reshaping Africa's image, showcasing its beauty, innovation, and rich cultures. Yeah, I want you to imagine how we were before. We weren't telling our story. Many people thought Africans stay in the bush, in the forest, they play with lions, kangaroos. That's what they thought, until they started seeing us and how we live. So why do some people still deny their African origins? Anyway, it's complicated. It's about history, trauma, societal pressures, and sometimes misinformation. But it's also a choice. For some, it's easier to focus on their immediate identities rather than explore a distant past, and that's okay. Everyone's journey is personal. But understanding this denial isn't about judgment, it's about empathy. By learning and sharing stories, we can bridge gaps and foster pride in African heritage. Well, thanks for watching and for being open to this discussion. If this resonates with you or gave you something to think about, drop a comment below. Let's keep the conversation going. Let's learn from each other, and remember, history isn't just about the past, it's about shaping our future. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind. Bye-bye.